One of my first memories was of helping my father plant a field, dragging along a bag of seeds behind him that was almost as big as I was. From the time almost that I could walk, he put an axe in my hand, and I used to chop wood for him so he could do his carpentry. I carried that axe with me for almost 20 years, and I became real good with that axe. But one of the things that my folks didn't care so much about is whether or not I got an education. My father thought it was just fine that I just stayed right where we were and became a farmer and a carpenter just like he was. But the problem was I had other ideas and other plans for myself. I saw bigger things. I knew there was a big world out there. I wanted to find out about it. I wanted to find out about those people that lived out there. He didn't see that. So whenever I wanted to go to school and I'd approach him about going to school, a lot of times, no, you have to stay here and help me with the work. I need work here on the farm. Well, this went on for a long time. Now, maybe in the winter time, when the work was mostly done, maybe then I'd get to go to school for a week, maybe two. But if you put together all the time I spent in school my whole life, it comes out to less than 1 year. Less than 1 year. Now, you got to know some things to be President of the United States. And the only way that I could see that I could learn that was by reading. And once I learned how to read, Katie barred the door. I just read everything I could get my hands on. I mean, I started out with the only book that we had in our house, which was a Bible. And I must have read that 10 or 15 times. Then I wanted something else to read. Well, there weren't any bookstores or anything, no libraries. So the only place I could go was to other farmers who maybe had some books. Now, you may have heard that I walked 15 miles once to borrow a book, and that's a fact. So I started reading all these books. And let me tell you something about reading. See, with reading, you get to step into a different world. That's just what I was looking for. Step into a different world and walk around in another person's shoes and see things from the way they see it. And it changes you. And it expands your imagination. You don't need somebody to draw you a picture. You don't need a television to show you what it was. Your imagination does it for you. And each time you finish a book, you're never quite the same again. You're changed just a little bit because you've been influenced by that thing that you've read. And then the next book, it's the same thing. And the one after that. And pretty soon it gets to the point where you've changed yourself enough and stretched your imagination enough that you can take these little pieces and put them all together to make some sort of sense out of this world that we live in and start forming your own ideas. And that's what happened to me. I still read constantly. I'm never without a book. I always have a book no matter where I go. I talked to you about chopping wood for my father. I had a book with me. And when it was time to take a break, I had my nose buried in my book. And then I'd go back to work chopping wood again. And that's just the way it was.